Hello, Mom. Good day. Happy holidays. So, today I'm going to be walking you through my design of a development. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, welcome to my home here in the humble subdivision of Melisha Homes, located here in Makasandig, Cagayan de Oro City. So, one day I was walking around the subdivision until I noticed this empty lot just waiting to be developed. Now, this lot is actually zoned exclusively for housing, so to adhere to the surroundings and for the sake of conformity, I decided to develop another house. But to make things more challenging and interesting, let's make it into a tiny house, shall we? Okay, so first off, to develop any site or any house, I like to start things off by positioning the entryways, namely the carport and the front gate. So, looking back at the vicinity map, this route shows the desired path towards the house. So as a response to that, I position the carport and the gate here for ease of entry. Now, considering the cardinal orientation of the site, as you can see, the orientation of my spaces are pretty much unconventional. So usually we like to orient our utilities like the kitchen, the carport, and the bathroom to the west, diba? And the active spaces like the living and the dining areas to the east. But in this case, I wanted to flip things around. Why? Simple. People are usually at home during the morning sermon, and maybe in the late afternoons. So basically, I designed this house for a morning person in mind. You know, the type of person who wakes up in the morning, takes a shower, cooks, eats breakfast, and then goes off to work for the rest of the day. So that said, I wanted to give the owner an amazing experience every morning. Just imagine waking up every morning with beams of golden morning light pouring onto your loft bedroom, and thus widening your very sleepy eyes as you wake up. Huh? And imagine morning light beautifully illuminating your kitchen as you have breakfast, and bathing with the elements as morning sunbeams enter the shower to create like this very refreshing feeling of like bathing under the sun. So yeah, those are the kind of experiences that I want to incorporate into the design. And in times of winding down, where the owner just wants to relax after a hard days of work, or maybe during the weekends, I wanted to provide an experience that is relaxing, calming, and tranquil. So to do so, I had this concept in mind of playing with the shadows to simulate that specific feeling. So if you take a look at these 2.1 meter high walls, not only do they function for privacy, but they also function as a blank canvas. Why a blank canvas? Because it is here where the sun actually paints the shadows of this tree and these boxwood shrubs against the wall and creates like this trickling bit on a play of light where it can be enjoyed from the living room, the back porch, and maybe from the kitchen as you do your dishes. So, okay, moving on. Taking a look at the levels plan, I wanted each level to represent a specific zone or element in the development. As you can see, the main living spaces and porches are of the same level. I did this so that the porch can act as a seamless extension of the tiny house when you slide these doors open para, dili ka siya cram. I also made sure that the porch is about 0.40 meters high, just about the seat height of a couch, so that it can serve as like a piece of furniture where you can sit on, wind down, enjoy the outdoor space, play guitar and whatnot, As for the plant boxes, a 0.30 meter high filling of loam soil should be enough for the shrubs to grow, extending the edges of the plant box to create like dangling bits of vegetation. You will see that later in the section I will show you later. So taking a look at my materials plan, my choice of materials are pretty much simple and straightforward. Just like my approach with the levels plan, the materials help determine the different zones of the development. As you can see, the indoor living spaces have the same wood flooring with the porch to really sell that this is an extension of the interior. The plant boxes are filled with loam soil para healthy mga plants. As for the pavement, I use 8-hole turf block pavers so that it will be permeable and thus reducing the chances of flooding. And also adding some greenery into your pavement and reducing heat. So yeah. Finally, the lawn is patched with zoysia grass, which is pretty comfortable enough to sit in or even lie down on. So yeah, you have a pretty nice lawn. Okay, when it comes to construction, the setting out begins on this point of the property. From there, you can extend dimensions that will help lay out the pavement and the plant boxes. The rest will then be patched with zoysia grass. Taking a look at the section here, we can see the 2.1 meter wall where the shadows of the vegetation will be painted on. This height is also important as to enclose the outdoor space, thus making it feel like an extended room from the interior. The fences abutting the road are shorter. This is so that the owner can connect with the neighbors across the street. Another important thing to look at here is the plant box. As you can see, the 300mm filling of loam soil is enough for the shrubs to extend outside and dangle down the plant box. So yeah, maklaro na siya. Here is an inlet pipe towards your flow well, which I will be discussing later. Moving on to the utilities, if we take a look at the lighting plan, I utilized these solar-powered path lights to illuminate the pavement, as not only for aesthetics, but also for safety. Not only are these solar path lights sustainable, they are also easy to install and require little to no wiring whatsoever. In the porch, I added some recessed floor lights to add some little spice into the design, and then I placed these pendant lights dangling from the trees because I just feel like there's something so magical about the aesthetic of it. So yeah. Taking a look at the irrigation plan, I made use of these oscillating sprinklers, which can be positioned at these points for even distribution of water. They just have to be connected from this faucet using a hose. Moving on, taking a look at the drainage plan, I went with a more sustainable approach. Instead of ejecting stormwater along with its pollutants down the street and eventually down the river, I wanted to route them to a flow well. Now this flow well is actually big enough to hold 50 gallons of storm water, which will be filtered out through this layer of gravel, as it eventually seeps in and naturally leaches down the soil. So some of the storm water will actually get directed onto this water tank, which can hold about 180 gallons of water, which can be recycled for plant watering and other uses. Since the pavement is made of turf blocks, the stormwater will just seep down the soil. Overall, the drainage for this house is pretty much isolated and does not contribute pollutants externally. Taking a look at the furniture plan, not much furniture can be found in this site aside from this water tank, these mats, and these shoe racks. Okay, so finally, taking a look at the tree and shrub planting plan. Simple naman akong range of vegetation. These salimbabog trees I find are actually very appropriate to my concept because they really embody the idea of calmness and tranquility. So yeah, I just like the aesthetic of these trees. Okay, so one is positioned here so that the morning light entering the shower and the kitchen will be filtered and creates like these trickling shadows bitaw. So same rin na concept sa kaning next one, which I positioned here so it can be viewed from the living space and the porch. So yeah, itong concept na ko again, nakatong mga shadow mag-paint against the wall, paint against the interior. So yeah, it's a very nice trickling na kind of like light bitaw na effect. So anyways, finally the last one is positioned here because if we take a look back at our site analysis here, a lot of the heat is actually radiating from this direction. So whether it be the west sun and from the radiating heat of the metal roofs, this tree actually filters it out and keeps the house cool, you know? Finally, boxwood shrubs enclose the perimeter of the site, and zosia grass patches the rest of it, which is again very comfortable enough to sit on and lie down upon. And I guess that ends my presentation. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm out. Peace out. Bye.